Hey guys, Lon from the ECOM zone, and Donald Trump just started a tariff war. In this video, we're going to discuss the imposed tariffs on China, what is the de minimis rule, and how Trump just closed this loophole. And honestly guys, this is actually worse than the 10% tariff that Trump imposed on China. Because essentially, all products are now going to have custom duties, and they also have to pass through customs checks and more admin work, leading to more delays and higher costs for all products from China. So we're going to discuss this even further in this video. Next up, how would these changes affect dropshippers and what to do moving forward. And I'm also going to show you how I'm going to increase my prices within the Shopify settings. With my method, you could increase the prices to the US and not affect your other markets. And it also saves you time from increasing prices of all your products individually. So what are the imposed tariffs on China? So the tariff rate. The additional tariffs for imports from China will be 10% into the US, and the new tariffs will apply in addition to any other duties and fees. So currently, we actually pay taxes on purchases on AliExpress to the US. It varies by state. Some states are like 5%, some are 3, some are 2, some are whatever it is. I'm not too sure what the exact numbers are. So it'll be 10% on top of that. And remember guys, it's 10% on your product cost on AliExpress. So for example, if your product cost including shipping fees and taxes was $10 before this, it will probably increase to $11. So it's actually not too big of a hike at the moment. However, Trump does propose to increase tariffs to 60 to 100% over time. Hopefully it doesn't get to that stage, because otherwise drop shipping actually may be dead to the US if it goes to 60 to 100%. Because no way can we mark up products by 2x, 3x, 4x if they're doubling product costs. So it's something that we need to look out for. And we just need to pray that Trump doesn't increase tariffs by 60 to 100%. So the products covered. The president's order does not include a full list of covered HTSUS codes. So what are HTSUS codes? They stand for Harmonized Tariff Schedules of the United States. They are used to determine tariffs and duties and are a key part of the global supply chain. The order's references to the tariffs covering all articles suggests that the tariffs would apply to all merchandise imported for consumption. We will likely know the full details of the covered HTSUS codes when the government publishes the President's declaration to the Federal Register. So currently, we don't actually know what products are affected, but because Trump is removing the de minimis exemption, you can kind of assume that it's going to be on all products, which I don't know how this is going to play out. I've actually messaged my suppliers on AliExpress about the tariffs and they know nothing about it. AliExpress hasn't reached out to them or told them what's going to happen. So right now they're also clueless about these tariffs. So what is the de minimis rule? So goods under $800 can enter the US without customs duties, taxes, or detailed reporting. In 2016, this value was raised from $200 to $800 by Barack Obama. And this is actually a big jump because even the EU is around like $100 to $200, UK is £135. So for it to be $800, a lot of products can go into the US without facing customs duties or taxes. So the reason why they increased this was because of the administrative effort, labor, and time to actually check through all these products. And I'm not too sure how Trump is going to tackle this because there's a lot of work involved in checking all the parcels, literally parcels that are like 50 cents. I don't know why you would check a parcel that's 50 cents or even charge customs duties or taxes on that, because it's such a low value item. And that's why I think they should have just reduced the $800 back to $200 or something less. And the de minimis rule was actually beneficial for dropshippers relying on suppliers in China and dropshipping to the US. And it was also beneficial for big e-commerce giants operating in the US. So today I found out that Trump just closed this loophole. So this decision was motivated by curbing fentanyl inflows into America, and by suspending the exemption, the US aims to enhance screening of incoming shipments and reduce the trafficking of these dangerous chemicals. Now, honestly, how can you screen all products come from China? Like, especially when they're like 50 cents, $1, less than $10. It just doesn't make sense. The amount of staff you'll need to screen all those parcels is going to be insane. And it will also cost them more money in the long run. And I believe there's better ways to tackle drugs in America. It's not by increasing tariffs or removing the minimus rule. And this also targets Chinese e-commerce giants like Shein and Temu, as they've been benefiting from the de minimis route by shipping low-value packages directly from China to US consumers without incurring tariffs. This competitive advantage has put pressure on American retailers, and that is true. A lot of American retailers has suffered because a lot of people are buying from Shein and Temu because of how cheap the products are. So this is only just a temporary measure. Trump's executive order does not call for permanent suspension, meaning the de minimis rules could be reinstated in the future, and honestly, it should be. So how do these changes affect dropshippers? The 10% tariffs on Chinese imports will increase product costs and reduce overall profit margins. Products with a thin margin will struggle the most, especially those products with low perceived value. For example, dog toys, socks, accessories, etc. This will also mean that dropshippers have to force higher prices on their consumers. However, there's a possibility of lower conversion rates because you're increasing prices for consumers in the US. The removal of the de minimis exemption means higher shipping costs and supply chain disruptions, leading to delays due to administrative burdens. We may also need to collect additional details from customers, like their personal ID number, and submit that to AliExpress for them to put on the parcel. Customs enforcement could become more rigorous, leading to delays in international shipment. So shipping times with AliExpress is currently 5 to 10 business days. This can extend depending on how much staff they hire, and I just don't know how they're going to tackle it. There's just too many parcels going into US from China, and now they want to screen all those parcels. It just doesn't make sense. So what to do moving forward? You could diversify suppliers and consider suppliers that ship from US to US. But for dropshippers like me who's developed a long-term relationship with their suppliers on AliExpress, it's very hard to just move to a supplier in the US, especially if most of your products are in China and you may not be able to find a supplier in the US. So this is beneficial for those starting out, and you can actually find products on AliExpress that ships to the US from the US and not China. You could also focus on high value items, so dropshipping items with high perceived value and bigger margins like jewelry, high-end fashion wear, luxury items, electronics, problem-solving products, etc. will give you an upper hand, and you won't have to worry too much about margins because your margins are already healthy. You could also look at alternative markets, focus advertising budgets on other countries like Australia, UK, Canada, Germany, France, Netherlands, Italy, etc. You could also hike prices by easily increasing the prices by roughly 5% to the US within the Shopify settings. Now the reason why I didn't say 10% is because the 10% is only on the product cost. For example, if your product costs $20 on AliExpress and AliExpress started collecting tariffs, then it will be a 10% increase to $22. So let's just say you're selling it on your store for $60. That doesn't mean you hike the prices by 10%, which makes it $66. You could just hike it by 5%, so it's like $63, because you're still making a decent amount of profit. And this just depends on your average order value and your markup ratios. So branding. You can increase the perceived value of your brand by focusing on the design of your store and your brand. By providing a more high-end experience to your customers with your branding, you can sell your products for a higher price. Just look at like high-end fashion. They just have a very elegant and luxury store and brand that makes you feel like, okay, this is worth an X amount, right? So focusing on your brand does matter. So let's actually head over to Shopify now so I can show you how you can increase the prices to the US markets easily. So what you want to do is head down to settings on the bottom left. So once this page opens, you want to click on markets. Now once you're in markets, you want to scroll all the way down until you can find the US. Now the amount of markets you can see may vary because I'm on a more advanced plan. So if you're on a basic plan, you might only see like 3-4 markets. But for me, you can see US is down here. What I'm going to do is click the US and then click product and pricing. And from here, you can actually increase the prices of your products to the US only. So for now, I've increased it by 5%, and you could just increase it by another 5% like that. So your products will increase by 10% on your website to US customers. Now, if you want to do it slowly, that also works. So for me, maybe a 7% increase will be better than simply jumping from 5 to 10. You just want to monitor how it affects your conversion rates by increasing the price gradually. And so once you hit save, that means all your product price will increase now by 7% to the US market only. And this is beneficial because one, it saves you time from increasing prices of all your products individually. And two, it won't affect your other markets because you're only changing the prices of your products in the US. And that's the end of the video, guys. It is kind of worrying that Trump is in the office now with all these tariff talks and the possibility of hiking the tariffs even further. I think the next tier is 35% and then after even more. So we need to keep a lookout on that, and also how China will retaliate with these tariffs increase. And once I get further information from AliExpress and my suppliers on AliExpress, I will make another video on this. So if you found this video valuable, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content. Peace.